Hello guys, so now I'm gonna read you the dramatic classic description from the book Metamorphosis by David Kibbe of the 80s. The following information should be taken as a broad outline of what makes a dramatic classic. It is the overall combination of the balance between yin and yang leaning, slightly angular physicality with a cool, sophisticated essence. That creates this image identity category. Therefore, a slight deviation here or there is always possible and should not be worried over if it does not upset your yin-yang balance. Height, normally moderate, up to 5 feet 7 inches. Bone structure, symmetrical with slightly angular edges. Straight and slightly wide. Shoulders are tapered or slightly square, usually narrow. Slightly squarish hands and feet. Slightly sharp, angular or squarish facial contours. Jawline, nose, cheekbones. Body type, fairly trim and compact when at an ideal weight. Slightly muscular when at ideal weight. Bust line, waist and hips are somewhat straight and in even proportion when at ideal weight. On occasion, slightly short-waisted. Legs and arms tend to be average or slightly long. Your body type will seem to radically change when you gain even a little weight. This is actually an illusion because your bone structure remains the same. Facial features. Usually moderate to large eyes, moderate lips. Hair may be thick and straight or fine and silky, but rarely coarse. Possibly wavy or curly. Coloring. Any coloring is possible, warm or cool, high contrast or blended. If overweight, excess weight shows up right away and collects from the waist down. You seem to gain weight in the hips and thighs. You rarely gain weight around the bust line. The heavier you get, the more pear-shaped you become. A dramatic classic will normally not have extremely long limbs, have extremely exotic or overly lush facial features, have extremely large bones or extremely large hands and feet, have delicate bones or extremely small hands and feet, have a boyishly straight figure. Now I'm going to read you some basic recommendations for dramatic classic. Shape. Triangular with the widest line at the shoulders, narrow at the hemline, symmetrical geometrics, which can be sharp or sculpted, trim, tailored, taut and crisp, and slightly chunky. You might not look as good in ornate, intricate, or delicate shapes, in irregular shapes, in unconstructed or extremely boxy shapes, in simple, symmetrical shapes without sharp edges or an elongated line. Line and silhouette. Your silhouette is always trim and tailored with sharp edges, clean, sleek lines, straight lines, elongated draping, strong, defined shoulder line with crisp edges, strong vertical and diagonal lines. You might not look as good in clingy, ornate, intricate, or flouncy lines, unconstructed, wide, boxy, or horizontal lines, extremely severe lines without tapering, plain, symmetrical lines without sharp or sculpted edges. Detail. Detail should be crisp, tailored, and geometric with sharp edges. Cleanly tailored necklines, notched collars, crisp mandarins, simple jabots or escots, cleanly slashed necklines, geometric V's, asymmetric angulars, turtlenecks, and narrow cowls. Sharp details, pleats, crisp cuffs, peaked and notched or cleanly streamlined lapels, double-breasted jackets, contrasted trim, epaulets, piping, or clean braiding. The waist may be crisply defined with a moderate to wide belt with a geometric buckle, or may be dropped or eliminated altogether in a narrow chemise effect. Detail that includes sharp color contrast is excellent. For example, spectator pumps, contrasting buttons, lapel outlining. Sophisticated nautical type detail is also striking when it is crisp and tailored. You might not look as good in ornate, intricate, or fussy detail, including frills, animated, perky detail, plain and symmetrical detail without sharp edges, wide, unconstructed, or bulky detail, minimal detail. Alright, that's it. Stay tuned for full wardrobe recommendations later on my channel. Subscribe.